I want you guys to be able to see the field here. Hopefully it can depict all the beautiful purple flowers in the background. And last year I said that this kind of symbolized to me um, to have strength in what you like and what you love. And my father likes to let the field go so that the flowers will bloom and look beautiful like they do, even though the neighbors would say, yo, you need to cut your grass, it's too high. He was like, no, I'm providing a bit of an ecosystem for insects, birds. And birds will actually lay eggs on the ground and stuff like that. And so he was very confident in this is his field, and I really love how it looks. It's really beautiful. So, yep, I'm here too. That was just your conscious speaking there. I came out here to do some jokes today, and I did my jokes, my little YouTube short jokes. But and we've talked about this many times, that whatever the world gives you, you need to be able to use. It's like your arsenal, And for me, I'm handicapped, and it actually opens the book to handicapped jokes that a lot of comedians can't even tell. I have a few jokes just off the top of my head. So I had a dream the other night. It actually turned out to be a nightmare. I was in a cubicle. I was working on a computer. I was trying to finish some work for a deadline. I was super stressed out, so worked up. I was like rolling in my sleep. I woke up, and I was like, "Wow, what a nightmare!" I woke up to my normal life. I'm a handicapped guy now. And I thought, "Oh, that was a close one," because now in my life, half my body doesn't work, and the other half doesn't want to work either. So yeah, I like that joke in particular. That one's fun to me. And I think, honestly, if you're going to tell jokes to people, you need to really enjoy whatever jokes that you have and you're telling. Because this is important. You want to bring people into your mindset. It's like your joke should be like an invitation to people. Like, come join me, friend, on this journey through a different point of view. It should be fun. So I don't want to get into any crude jokes though, because I don't want it to hurt the algorithm. Oh, here we go. When I was handicapped, I was like I had to sign a bunch of documents. There's all kinds of documents. I didn't read them though, but I imagine one of them must have been the anticipated constipation amendment. Yeah, I must have signed off my rights to have good bowel movements. So that's a little one. I enjoy that one too. That one's funny. It's funny and true. And all of a sudden, if you're a handicapped person and that stuff was dwelling on you, once you turn it into something fun, something that you can create, it completely flips the script. Any suffering becomes something joyful, something you can provide to others, because there's so many people that have insecurities, and really what you're capable of, if you're a handicapped guy or you're someone that just to anybody, if you're willing to show your insecurities, if you're willing to self-deprecate, you can really just bring people out of the shell that they have, where they're not willing to do that. And then a lot of times, people that aren't willing to do that will actually cut you down. They actually don't. they actually see your self-deprecation as a way for them to find some leverage. Like a narcissist will, like, if you have a self-deprecating joke, a narcissist will be like, um, they'll be even upset at the fact that that doesn't trigger you, because it like triggers their psyche, and they're like, how can this guy be able to enjoy that joke? He should be ashamed or something like that. So they'll actually try to shame you after you do a self-deprecating joke. It's really interesting. And so once you've fortified this ability to provide in your humor, obviously that doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect me. My ego was dead a while ago, and this is just part of the journey. I have self-deprecating jokes on sexuality, all kinds of things. I don't have a ton right off my head, but I even last night we've been going through this where, like, to really open people, to really show that you have value in a social setting, your ability to surprise people can be key. And there's so many different ways that people will find a way to do this. For me, it's comedy. Like, I want to surprise somebody with some humor. My comments, I want them to get a rise out of people. I want them to be surprised. And then once you eventually get a hook on your audience, they'll actually just be quiet, and they want to hear what you have to say. You know, they want more. Like, they want to become part of the vibe. You know, and that's what the capability of having humor is. The capability of really crafting your best self, how you can surprise people. Some people, they surprise with intellectual ability. Some people surprise, there's magicians, they'll surprise with, sleight of hand and illusion. Comedians will surprise with a reverse joke that you don't see the ending to it. And so there's multiple different facets of surprise, and you could probably come up with some surprise method of surprise to help you in your journey in perfecting it. Like, it should be something that you should anchor on whenever you open people, because if you can elicit laughter, if you can create that for a group of people, it's super contagious. You're really bringing them out of, possibly if they were in a serious mood. If you're really good at it, you can take someone that's in a serious mood, you can flip them and just see them smile. All of a sudden you brought them out of something that was kind of like dwindling, or something that was they were not really even appreciating the moment. They were sipping their drink, and they're just kind of like in this consumption, in this lost disconnect, because they're not able to even create the jokes for themselves. Like what I'm doing is I'm creating the jokes, and providing. That's what I'm going to do, and I will continue to do probably for the rest of my life. And I've always been doing that. Me and my buddies, when we were younger, we were always creating jokes. There was no reason for it. We were just doing it. We were just doing to provide for each other. We wanted to make each other laugh. And so I think a lot of times people lose sight of that inner childhood, that inner, they don't see the monetary, they're always pinging off monetary value and stuff like that. They don't see the value in the humor, the underlying humor. So what we can do if we're struggling, we can be the creator. Don't expect someone else to create for you. You're either the comedian or you're the guy that shows up and buys tickets to the comedy club, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. There's a ton of value there to absorb the humor and everything. I love that. I've been watching a lot of comedy, but I study it in a way where I want to create. So there's this flip that I would recommend people making is being the one that creates, the one that shifts the tempo, and really find what you love about it. I don't think I can even talk myself out of wanting to write jokes in the morning or in the afternoon. Like, this is my source of enjoyment. This is what I want to do. I want to create this for people. I want to create this for myself. It's a win-win for everybody. It brings anything that's tense, anything that's thick in the air, you can sort of weaponize it as a comedian. I got hemorrhoid jokes. I'm not going to say them now because they're really inappropriate. I got all kinds of jokes. This video is more of like a self-development thing. And I want to work on my aura a little bit more, so I'm not like this is from a state of trying to explain. I'm in like a state of explanation here. I'm not actually channeling the vibrant, state of enthusiasm that I would like. It's almost like an exaggeration that I want to work on also. I see, one of my favorite comedians, Harlan Williams, and I've talked about him in past videos. He has this ability to sort of exaggerate, even take his facial expressions a bit further than a normal person. A guy like Jim Carrey did that too. His act was a bit of an exaggeration also. The entirety of it. It was underlyingly funny because of the exaggeration. I would to touch on the exaggeration point, I would say that I like to be perceived as some sort of ladies' man who's in a wheelchair. It's like two dissimilar ideas converging. It's like, when have you ever seen a handicapped man who's like, that always gets the girl or something like that? That would be the funny aspect. Me having the contagious enthusiasm, super comfortable with my sexuality, and also that being almost like an exaggeration. Like, I can't get the girls off of me, whenever I tell you what, even when I go to the grocery store, some girl tries to wheel me out and put me in her car, stuff like that, it's like, that was kind of like that was a surprise, you didn't expect me to be compared to a grocery cart, if you got the joke, and packed up into someone's car, like I'm in her groceries. I could even add on to it. I'm like, even something more to surprise. Yeah, she packed me up in her car. It took me home, and she must have vegetarian because she really knows how to eat her vegetable. See, that's the boom, surprised. That was fun. I like that joke. I actually kind of pieced together a couple of jokes together. This is the first time I actually pieced those together. That's actually a good one. I need to record that one in a small short for my channel, for my other channel. But there is this opportunity that you have to seize, where it's like conjuring the force. It's like Star Wars. You must conjure the force of enjoyment. Conjure the force of love for yourself. And some people even perceive that as like being selfish. Like, oh, you love yourself? That's selfish, It's kind of ridiculous how things can be misconceived. But once you really love yourself and you love the moments that you're given, that gratitude can really take you far. And even whether it's your jokes, I love being silly. I've been doing freestyles in the morning, 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening, and I've become better at it. And it's fun every time. Even today, I woke up today. I slept like crap. I woke up today and had a decent little freestyle session, and basically, I think for a lot of people, they could just like accept the state that they're in. I woke up feeling awful. I could just go back to sleep, or I could just make this excuse for not doing a freestyle, or make this Make an excuse. I don't feel like I'm in a creative mood, you know? Well, find it. Go out and find it. Bring it out of you. And I think even I've seen some mentors talk about how you're not just going to be able to unleash this state flow, you know? Go out and work the room, you know? Ask little questions about everybody, you know? Ask them what they're doing. And I think that's part of even comedy also, is you have to be able to work the room and have these core jokes, but also being able to fluctuate in the space that you're given. Talk to people in between jokes. Whenever you're talking about jokes, ask them what kind of, like, if it's a relationship joke, ask the crowd, you know, are you in a relationship? How's it going? My relationship, this is what happened. Something fucking crazy. So, and you can even hit them with surprise. Everything's a surprise and exaggeration. It becomes a journey. Even the facial expressions. I'm actually pretty good at doing facial expressions. But I feel like I've been out of the game for so long, you know? When I was in school, I had all these different facial expressions and stuff like that. And one of them is just like, right now that I discovered, just this stupefied, like, kind of like that wasn't even it perfectly, but there was a stupefied, like, you know, kind of, all these different, like, expressions that I'd like to be able to make. There's facial expressions, there's impressions of people, there's even facial impressions of people. Jim Carrey did that really well. That's not really what I want in my bit. Jim Carrey did that. He would use his physical body to do all kinds of wild stuff. He was one of a kind in that manner. That's not something I really want to adopt because I'm in a wheelchair. I can't really do a lot of that stuff. But there's a bunch of different things that I would like to adopt. And I have a list here, and I've been kind of perfecting this list of the super comic. And been finding some different things. We talked about being able to bring people into this vibrant, exuberant energy that seemingly is funny and an exaggeration from the norm. Because, like, you don't want to go up there as a comedian and basically have that same vocal tonality as an NPC. You want the cadence. You want to have that. That goes in the second. You want to speak into a flexible cadence, like Chappelle and Norm Macdonald. Don't rush a sophisticated tempo. Yeah, Dave Chappelle does this really well. He'll bring you in the story, and he'll even lighten his voice. He'll even bring it down into a level. And then whenever the punchline hits, he's like, and that's when I kicked her right in the bleep. You know, it's like you get used to it, and then he brings in the surprise, which is a different cadence. Executing pause, like Rodney Dangerfield, Norm and others perfect the pause. That's something that I'm still definitely discovering, is the appropriate pauses. As I reflect today, I think some of my jokes I did better with executing them verbally. Like, it was easy to say my jokes today for some reason, but I don't think I really did the pauses that amazingly. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I think the most key and underlying parts is that you really need to enjoy the jokes that you're telling. You must have this self-amusement. Norm and Harland have this grin on their face that they just know you're gonna love their joke like like you love it. And I think you've actually seen that today. This sort of grin, you know, I'm really enjoying telling you guys about my jokes. I'm having fun with this. So when you add that in, facial expressions, punctuate and use facial expressions to help audience understand how they should feel about the joke. Harlan Williams does that too. and his facial expressions are an exaggeration. He'll be like, he'll be like, he'll be like, he'll be like, "Hey, dear, what do you do for a living?" You know, he kind of just like, it's so strange and funny, dude. I can't even do it. It's such an exaggeration. For me, it's funny to even exaggerate that. But to him, he can do all of these things with his facial expressions, and he won't laugh because of it. He'll look up on the balcony. And he goes, "Hey there, up there. What's your name?" And he'll be like, and he's like, my name's George." "Oh, are you curious, George?" It's so funny, man. It's so funny how he does it. It's the subtlety. And a lot of people who would do that joke would just bomb it. You know, it's the subtlety, the fluctuations attached to his self-amusement. Oftentimes, he'll even add in his unique POV where he doesn't want to laugh. Like, he'll act like he's upset with the crowd. Kind of like how I recently watched, what the heck's his name? I can't remember his name. Oh, Andy Kaufman. He'll like act like he's upset with the crowd because they're laughing at him, his quirkiness. And then it'll even make the crowd laugh even more because they know he's putting on a bit, but and they want to laugh, and so whenever someone laughs about Harlan Williams' stories, he goes, "Are you serious, man? I'm opening up to you. I'm being vulnerable, and you're laughing at what I'm talking about. Unreal, man. Unbelievable." He'll be like he was talking about how he was this hilarious joke about how his father was a doctor who did circumcisions. And he told him he said, my father for years, 50 years, he didn't mess up one circumcision. And there was that one day he messed up, and he pulls out, Harlan pulls out a fake like penis tip, and he goes, "Here it is, right here." And everyone is there is dying and laughing, and he goes, "Oh, come on, guys, come on, I'm opening up to you guys, effing believable, guys." And so that was his addition. Like, him laughing with his joke wasn't gonna enhance it anymore. He thought that if he would just continue to make it seem like he's being real, and that was kind of it's just an it's like the adding of a different POV. It's just funny. It's like everyone in the room knows he's joking, but he's continue to add that new POV of the fact that, you know, this is serious. I'm being serious with you guys. Just great, man. He's just so funny. And yeah, he's one of my favorite right now. Match the topic with your energy, like Bill Burr. So what Bill does is he'll actually get engaged with whatever topic it is. This really ticks me off, you know. He'll get in his rant, you can just feel that's really how he feels about it. It is frustrating. It's frustrating and stuff like that. You know, and it doesn't have to be a frustration. There's a bunch of different ways that you can sort of match the energy of a topic or what you want people to feel. And like I said earlier, is like your facial expression should kind of mimic how you want the audience to feel. If you want them to feel that the joke's goofy, you do what Harlan does, and you're like, you know, boy, oh boy. He's kind of just like, he's just a master class of doing that. Lose the ego and be able to self-deprecate, like what I've been doing in this session here, this episode, this amazing episode on the Plausibly Anything podcast. It's not a podcast, but maybe one day. But Plausibly Anything in our Mentoring 365. The craziest thing is that this is mentoring. This is humor. This is life. This is what needs to get you out of your shell. Be charming and disarming, like Matt Rife. Matt Rife will say really crude jokes, but everybody loves him. It's almost like he cannot be canceled because he's a gem, you know? Doesn't matter what he says, he can make a joke about a woman who's about to die. He can make a joke about, like, hey, don't go into that room. He had a girl that was like, she was ill. I believe she was terminally ill, and she didn't have a lot of time to live. And he had her come up on stage, and he said, don't make a turn to the right. That's a crematorium. You know, it's a surprise, you know, and she comes up and hugs him, and she loves him. Everyone loves him. That is that sense that the joke is not supposed to antagonize. It's supposed to bring you in. You know, it's supposed to be like, hey, join me in this POV that is a bit exaggerated and full of surprises, you know? So, be capable to go a bit further with a bit to see it through, like Harlan Williams does. The crazier it gets, the easier the surprise ending. He does all kinds of goofy stuff where he will make jokes about Dolly Parton trying to fit through a screen door or something like that. These comparisons, and he'll continue to go on this road until he actually finds what he thinks is the best part of the whole joke. That sort of improv, it's just like surprise turn after surprise turn. It's just full of surprises. You can kind of like, if you can spitball, if you can sort of riff off the top of your mind and create a story, an imaginative story out of something that you're just given. That reminds me of when Dolly Parton, I don't even know where to go with Dolly Parton. I don't have any Dolly Parton jokes, but they can be pretty funny. But it's like, can you take a celebrity and turn it into a story? Just imagine, like, can you make up a story? That sort of improv stuff is something I think that I need to practice more every day. Can I make up a story right now? You know, I was a young boy and I met Dolly Parton, and I said, I love you, Dolly. For some reason in my mind, I'm thinking about a dolly. I'm thinking about a dolly, like she dollied me away. It's like she lifted me up and dollied me away into this imaginative state. Yeah, I'm having trouble with this one, but hey, practice makes perfect, and we can always work on the improv. The improv part is like what I think takes the most time. You can find jokes, write them down, and they'll be funny. They'll have funny surprises as long as you execute them like in the right manner. If you enjoy it, it'll work. And really, I think there's this holding of your mindset also, this frame of mind where Dave Chappelle is willing to do these really crude jokes, edgy jokes that a lot of people would tell him not to do. And so you have to be able to tell yourself, like, yeah, it's okay to do this joke. I want to do this joke. Because you'll have some people tell you not to do it. And then all of a sudden you could do the joke and get a good response from an audience. And yeah, the improv part is really what connects you to even what happens socially. Those jokes that you were able to come up with on the spot with your friends. I think that is like the key. That is like the mortar to the structure of you as being someone that's surprising and fun to be around. Is the ability to improv Um, and there is a silliness there. There is such a silliness there. You think about one of the best guys, Robin Williams. A lot of his stuff didn't get last, but he was always going on the next thing. Nothing was holding him back. Everything, all, it was like everything. All the responses were a way to also find a different way to make it funny. And so, that is just like a glass half full all the time type thing. Is looking at everything in a way that could be funny. It could be a comparison. There could be a misconception in words. The difference between your calf and a cow that's a calf. Two dissimilar objects. All these structures that you can even find in Jerry Corley's book on comedy. You can bring those to life in the improv. Boom, 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 boom. Hit on as many as you can as you randomly come up with jokes. Writing jokes down. Five a day would be a good start. To the point where you do 5 a day, and then throughout your day you're doing 10 to 20 jokes of improv, because you understand the structures and you can do this constantly. And I think that's the pattern that I'm on, because I don't think it's that difficult to do this. I come up with jokes when I'm not even trying to do it. All of a sudden, my brain's like doing the work for me. My brain's writing jokes. Oh, this is a funny topic. Did I just hear a double entendre? Let me write it down. I'm not even like sitting down and forcing it. It just comes to the mind. And so that is the improv. That is the most fun part about this, is it can be really easy for people to just, if you get good at it, it can be so easy. But to other people, it can be so hard to enter that mindset to create. And that's what this whole video is about, is how can I help you guys enter that mindset to create? Because it can be difficult. It can be so restricted with some of you guys, beyond my joke earlier where you work in a cubicle and it kind of restricts your ability to create. You're constantly doing that. You have to find time to also do that. Maybe you can do that during the workday. Maybe you can take 10 minutes out of your workday and write a few jokes down. Or anytime you come up with a joke, anytime that you see something's funny, write a joke. Because I can promise you, there are jokes in the workforce. There are people that do tons of jokes in the workforce. Anything you're doing, there's a joke there. It's just a matter of seeing it in a different POV than everyone else that have already established how to think about something. And that's what being an individual is about. Rising above, finding that new POV, creating, not being restricted, being able to conquer the ego that's trying to restrict you from being anything but the past events that you've seen in your life. So, that is all, guys. That's all, folks. I am Marshall. The channel is Plausibly Anything. And like I said many times, if you want to see how I went on this journey to sort of learning more about myself, more about enhancing my self-expression, check out the earlier videos in our Mentoring 365 playlist. As we sort of are inching away at 365 videos. One day we're going to get there, a full year of videos, and that is what the goal is. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really enjoyed this. And I'm going to move aside here. If you want to look, I think we should be able to get a nice view of the field as we close out this video. just kind of sitting here. I got some thoughts still. There's that deep appreciation for all this. Oh, this is such a beautiful environment. Just right in my backyard. I think a lot of people aren't able to really have something like this, but there's parks out there. Get out there in nature. Help yourself become present on top of all of this. And honestly, this is so beautiful to me. It's not really, I don't think the video does it justice, but I don't think it's ever looked this beautiful. And it's honestly almost like bringing a tear down my eye. Just accepting that maybe this field will never look as beautiful than today. And that is the acceptance of the moment. It's almost like I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world than just sitting here looking off. But there are so many things beautiful in their own way. For this to be right in my backyard is a different type of connection, because it's always been here. I don't think it's ever looked this beautiful before, but you know, whenever you're living a faster life, sometimes you don't get a chance to really see it for the beauty, see that present for its beauty. And there's just butterflies just vibing out. So many. There's like I don't think the video's capturing this, but there's like 20 different butterflies flying around from flower to flower. It's full of life. And I've had some past videos where I talk about how the physical, how alive this physical world is too, and you even look into outer space and the explosions, the nebulas, all this vibrance and color. If there, you know, there's all that life and energy out there, and it just makes me think that it's almost like the only thing I can compare it to is like the brain is what gives us the light and the way to process, and the universe, to me, it seems like a big brain. All these, it's almost like neurons bouncing off of each other. And to me, it's not hard to believe that the universe is a form of God, and the earth is a form of God. And I'm just happy to be here, happy with this small role. I mean, not a small role, but I don't pursue a significant role in life. I have a purpose, whatever that may be. In the end, that's what it will be. I feel like I have arrived in a good state of mind, especially today. And I'm just really appreciative to be here doing this video. And I'm telling you, man, this breeze is beautiful. It is such a gorgeous day. It's not very sunny, but it's gorgeous. And yeah, I'm definitely just getting lost in the moment still. there was years in the past after my accident rendered me paraplegic. And I thought, I'm stuck here in my house. I'm stuck in like a state of, I was like perceived as hell. And now all I can see is heaven around me. There was, out in the distance, there was 3 white butterflies just flying around in a circle around each other. Just shooting the shit. Just vibing. One butterfly said to the other one, "Can you believe we can have this role in the universe?" And the other butterfly said, "Duh, what else were we supposed to be doing?" Oh, man. I think we're going to close out the video now. I really hope the picture turned out really nicely. I had so much fun today. Bye for now, friends. See ya. And I love all of you that appreciate this world and see others as equal.